What is this divinity? Do you have any idea what is this divinity?
Soul, like,
Yeah?
soul
No?
being awakened.
Sorry?
Soul being awakened. State.
Okay.
Being soul.
The soul being awakened. This is the great message. To preach unto mankind his divinity. That it's quite understandable that only one or two answer, because Swami Vivekananda used the word preach. So that means we have to preach. If you all knew it, you all wouldn't have come here in the first place. So it's fine that you all do not know. So we have something to talk about. We have something to teach you. This divinity, Swami Vivekananda gives you in one word. And he says, the first step to weakness, the first cause for weakness is to think that you are the body. This is the first reason to weakness. What a message. He says, thinking that we are constantly this human body, weakness has come upon us. You see the level of weaknesses. If something happens to my arm, I feel depressed. If something happens to my face, I feel depressed. If something happens to my ego, I feel depressed. He says, the reason for this is to think that we are the body. Now comes the great question. Swami Vivekananda says we are the body. We are not the body. But what do we know best of ourselves as? What do we know ourselves as? We have heard that we are the soul. But what do we actually think we are? No, Atman is what the answer is. But now, at this moment, as you're sitting here, what do you think you are?
Divine.
Humans. We are having this body. I think I'm this body. Immediately, the first immediate reaction to my knowledge is, I'm the body. I'm the face. I am this 6 feet, 5 feet being. This is the first knowledge we have of ourselves. But Swami Vivekananda says it is a delusion. He gives a message and he says the choice is yours. Today if you want to believe it, believe it. After that, face the brunt, bear the brunt. It is going to hit back tremendously. Because if I think I'm this body, what is eventually going to happen to this body? What is going to happen? Come on, be very fast in answering. Sorry? Ashes, did you all say? What is going to happen to this body? It will become old. What will happen to it after that? Ashes means, in simple words, you all are giving philosophical answers, but I'll say simple. What is going to happen in the end? This body was born. What is going to happen? Death. And if there is this impending death, does anyone here at this point of time want to die? No. Nobody wants to die. Now you see the great confusion that is stuck up in our heads. None of us sitting here wants to die. And what is the ultimate truth? That we are all going to die. Now you understood the cause for fear? This is the cause for fear. Swami Vivekananda is very clear. And is this something that Swami Vivekananda has to teach, or Sri Ramakrishna has to teach, or some great philosopher has to teach, or some God has to teach? It is a common knowledge. That is why I told it is your story. It is the fundamental cause. And you see, it is a thing that is common to all of us. None of us want to die. None. There is not even a cat or a dog doesn't want to die. What to speak of us? And yet we are staring at something that is true, and that is the graveyard. Now I'll go. That is something that is true, and like you all said, like philosophers, ashes. So you all know, you all are better philosophers than us. You all know what's going to happen. Ashes. It's a very high idea. This is what happens. Now you see what is fear? I'll tell you, Shankaracharya, at a place he said, there is a Pandit who knows everything, but he thinks he is the body. And there is a dog, and a person is holding a stick and running towards the dog. What does the dog do? Run away. Why? Because it fears for its life. A person who has all the knowledge, okay, all the knowledge, like he studied in books, he also, a person holds a stick and runs towards him. What does he do? Runs. Is there a difference between the both? So in one word, if I have to ask you, you all said, who are we? We are human beings. Now I'll ask you, are we different from animals? No. If death came at us, we would be running. This is what is the difference between us human beings and animals. Swami Vivekananda says, the prominent difference between us and the animals are, we have a chance, we have a possibility of manifesting this divinity. And what is this divinity? The soul. He says, excuse me. He says, this divinity, this soul inside you, please listen, this is concentration. One thing goes, this is another thing. Okay, now there are many things you all need to do. One is concentration. It's a big subject by itself. I think I should have spoken on concentration than fearlessness. Without concentration, there cannot be any fearlessness. Anyways, so one teach, one open, one breeze, and we go. Right? Now, Swami Vivekananda says, and we also have practiced, we are practicing it. There is that element inside you, inside me, inside everything that is not born, that does not die. That is birthless, deathless, infinite, and fearless. He says, when you touch upon that element in your being, when you awaken that, only then will you be fearless. So like you all agreed, we all agreed, that the main cause of fear is this confusion in our head. What is this confusion? We do not want to die. And what is the other confusion? Death is there. So all our life we will be running away from it. All our life we will be trying to avoid anything that damages this body. And this is the sole cause of our weakness. How do we do it? We can only give you an introduction here. How do we do it? We do it by what Swami Vivekananda calls yoga. It is a method which you can practice, which you have to learn in order to awaken that. Sri Ramakrishna gives it like this. His guru, Sri Ramakrishna, says that, you know, milk. What is in milk? Yeah, calcium, all of that. Right? That is what you can see, that is what you can figure out. But can you see butter in milk? But is it there or not?
Yes.
Yeah. Just like that, in all of us is the soul deeply within us. Yoga gives you the power to convert milk into curds, yogurt, and from that to extract butter. This is what yoga does. And in all religions, there are people of different religions here. All our religions are designed to teach us how to extract that butter. And that butter is our soul within ourselves. This is what Swami Vivekananda said. Yoga is the means of awakening that divinity within you. And when that divinity is awakened within you, we become fearless. How do we become fearless? By recognizing that inside us which is birthless, deathless, and which is fearless. Now the equation is simple. The equation is, like you all only said, for me the fear is dying because I don't want to die. So he says, if you recognize this element of deathlessness inside you, we become fearless. There's nothing for you to actually attain. There's nothing for you to say, now I'll become fearless. You have to just touch upon that core being within you. Okay? And this, I'll just briefly touch upon it. The first thing in all of us is, so basically, if I have to tell you in simple word, simple idea, it is to conquer the idea that, to master the idea that we are not the body. Can you tell it? To master the idea that we are not the body. Tell it.
To master the idea that we are
Not the body. Yeah. If you can do this, and it's not a new thing. It's not a new thing. This has been practiced for millions and millions of years. All of us, no matter where we belong, to what religion we belong, to what culture we belong, we always have respected and revered saints and sages. And you know what their message was? Do you know what their message was? Some of the saints and sages have called it God. Some of the saints and sages have called it Atma. It is the same thing. And all of them have taught us again and again, that the only way to attain fearlessness in this life is to somehow realize that you are not the body. You are something higher, deeper, and more powerful than that. This is the idea of divinity. To touch it in short, the first thing that is known to us is the body, the human body. That is to be mastered by asanas, by right conduct, by using your organs, your hands and legs in the right way for the right things. That is the first dimension in us, the body. Can you tell me what is the second dimension? What is the second dimension?
Mind.
The mind. Now, between the body and the mind, there's one more thing. What is that? Sorry? Heart, did you say? No. Heart is a physical entity. Between the body and mind, to connect the body and mind, there is one more thing. No, soul is even beyond. What is it? Nerves, correct. Now what operates within these nerves? Yeah, breath, exactly. This is it. Between the body and mind is the breath, and it is the breath that regulates your body using your mind. It's very simple. Suppose if I say, I want to lift this phone and keep it there, I first give a thought, is it not? I give it a thought. I say, I want to lift. I don't even tell it. Now I'm telling it because you all have to hear. Right? I say, I want to lift. Then the sensation goes, and I need a nervous facility to be able to push it from there to there. And for that, I need to take in oxygen and give my body the necessary strength to pass it from there to there. And then I breathe in, and then I get the energy from nature, and then I take it and lift. So between the body and the mind is what is called breath. In our terms, we call it prana. So first is to control and regulate and strengthen the body by exercises and asana. The second is by pranic control. We call it pranayama. Have you heard of it?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a very famous thing. It's controlling the breath. Don't do too much of it. Only one thing you have to do at all times is be aware. Even as you're talking to me, can you be aware of your breath? Try. Now can you? Are you breathing or not?
Yes.
This is called awareness. That is, higher practices of that is pranayama. First is to have control over it. You'll see whenever you are anxious, nervous or agitated, your breathing becomes irregular. The first way is to cut off and start breathing calmly. This is how breath is controlled. Then comes mind control. So people want to jump to mind control. It is not possible. First body control, then breath control, then mind control. In mind again, emotions control, desires control. And then comes intelligence. So first, can you tell me, first is what? Second is? One word. Third is? Fourth is? Fourth is? No. In the mind is emotions and desires. The fourth dimension to us is? Intelligence, exactly. The fourth dimension to us is intelligence. This is to be developed. Intelligence is to be developed. There are many ways. I'll give you one direct way. Study psychology and observe this world. Your intelligence will be developed. Cut off from television, cut off from fantasy and imagination that this television shows you, and live in the real world. Observe how things function in this real world. Your intelligence will be developed. Already our intelligence is developed. The most intelligent thing you all said here now is, you know what's the most intelligent thing you all said? Ashes. Exactly. That's the most intelligent thing you all have said. Means that's one thing that is firm. Right? Now the thing is very simple. We all said that we are going to turn into, this is simple intelligence. I'm just giving you a small clue for intelligence. Alright? It's true that it's all going to be ashes. Now I'll ask you another thing. Is it also not true that this ashes will not come only after we are 60, it can come tomorrow also?
Yes.
Right? And we see it daily in the papers. Now comes, this is intelligence again, it can, but still we feel, no, nothing will happen. But we are afraid saying nothing will happen. We are not like, nothing will happen. We are not like that, we are like, hopefully nothing happens to me. Right? So somebody there, oh, he's dead. It could be anybody. Now intelligence is, if it is true that it can happen anytime, think, how would we live our life if this was my last day? How would I live it? I would like to be compassionate towards all. I would like to call all my friends and say, oh, I really love you all. We are all good friends. Let us forget all this hatred. Let us forget all this confusion. we would be transformed people. This is intelligence. I'll call my mother and I'll say, Ma, yesterday I scolded you, I'm sorry about it, and the fault was mine, we'll make peace with everybody because people are dear to us, life is dear to us. If we can live this dearness to life on a daily basis, we are truly intelligent beings. Truly intelligent beings. Now you see, all Swami Vivekananda, Sri Ramakrishna, Sri Shraddha Devi, Muhammad, Buddha, Christ. What is one word that people told about all these sages? Do you know what is one word? If you have to define them, most of the people have told of what? One word. Peace. Good. Another word? Yeah. Do you all agree that one thing we can attach to their personalities is that all of them were compassionate? All of them were compassionate. Now you know where this sprung from them in them? I told you the same thing. How we became compassionate. The very day we realized this is our last day. We loved everything around us. This is how they lived every moment. Ready to depart, ready to live. And you might think, oh, it's a bad thing. No, it's a good thing. We learn to appreciate everything at every moment. We learn to even look at the tree. We go through these streets. How many of us have looked up with the sky? We are all possessed with our wants, desires, tensions. Our mind is down. We do not even have the guts to look at a person in the eyes because we have so much confusion in our head. But when we realize it's the last day, even if we have confusion, we're like, what is it? Anyways, I'm going to go tomorrow. Let me enjoy today. Let me look at everything in a beautiful way. Let me look at the stars. Let me look at the trees. Then a cat comes. You say, oh, this cat is my last visitor for today. Come, I'll talk to the cat. This is intelligent living. And this is what they had at every moment of their lives. This is what Swami Vivekananda said, to preach unto mankind his divinity and how to make it manifest at every moment. This is every moment. And and there's a higher thing, one more higher dimension to it. So first is what are the dimensions to our being? First is the body. Second is the third is the fourth. Now, the fifth is the most important part of your being. And that is where the spirit is. And you know what is the nature of this spirit? Birthless, deathless, and there's one more word. No, now fear is gone. Totally, there's no concept. I told you in the beginning, there's no concept at all. If somebody has to tell you, do you know what fear is? Like, what are you talking about? This last dimension is birthless, deathless, and there's one more word to it. I'll tell you. It's called blissful. So, what are the three things to this last final dimension of yours? Birthless, deathless, and blissful. So, this idea of living every moment as my last day is not like, oh my God, it's my last day, I have to cry throughout. No. You can touch it with your intelligence, and at the same time, if we can realize that there is one dimension in me which is birthless, deathless, and blissful, that even when all these things go from me, I will remain peaceful and blissful. With the death of my body, I don't die at all. I continuously remain as the spirit. Then there is true fun in living in this world. There's real joy in living in this world. And don't think that only when I realize this spirit in me will I be happy. No. He says, Krishna in the Gita says, Swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. He says, practice a little bit of this. And even a little bit of this will awaken within you that fearlessness. It will remove you and it will make you more happier by the day. So happiness, the highest happiness is the blissfulness. But even before that, we can go in stages. Right? We cannot be one day totally sad and the other day totally happy. It goes in stages. We start to appreciate in stages. Today I'm this happier, tomorrow I'm more happier, and definitely, if there is any truth, it is this, that this yoga is true. It will make you fearless. There are only two options, right? So one option is the worldly way of how the world functions. Does that give us fearlessness? Does it give us fearlessness? Can it really give us lasting happiness? It can? Then you all have to apply your intelligence a little bit more, to study a little bit more whether this world can give us happiness. So anyways, the worldly ways of the things will not give us that. Then there's only one option, this. Take it. Work on it. And you will see that it is the practical way to live. Swami Vivekananda called it practical Vedanta. So, I told you of 4 dimensions, and I told you of the 5th, which is your actual thing. Now this is what we meant. Preach unto mankind is divinity. So it has been told to you, now it is up to you to explore, to find out what this is. It's a good thing for journey, right? See, what is going to happen anyway in life? We study, we work, we earn, we have families, and we die. It's the same thing that is there in everyone. That anyways we have to do. Why not do something more? Why not do something more interesting? That is an exploration. And you know what our teachers say? That there is no end to what this exploration can give you. It has infinite dimensions of joy and joy and joy and joy. Discoveries and discoveries and discoveries. It has no end. The worldly things have an end. You have a family, we have children, we have cars. After car, you're like, what do I do? After children, what do I do? Then I'll go and work in a school. After that, what do I do? Then comes death. That's all. Then you're like, oh my God, I wasted my life. But this, no. Yoga has no end. The promise of joy in yoga, in self-discovery, has no end. So with this brief thing, I'll just sum up what I said. So that at least, please let it not be like whatever is told here that, oh, it was wonderful to hear. No, it should be implemented. Okay. So like I said, I told you of what is the fundamental thing I spoke to you about? Fearlessness. And I told you, fearlessness is not that you keep fear and battle it. There is a state where you destroy it completely. I told you about feminism, that true feminism is awakening the divinity within, and fearlessness can come only when you realize that state which is what? That state which is birthless, deathless and blissful. And to do that is what in Hinduism we call it yoga. In other religions, the practices that are there, the fundamental practice of all these things are to master the 4 dimensions in ourselves, to bring it under our control, and then we can realize it. What is the first dimension? How do we bring it under control? Not through breath. Breath is, of course, body, you can bring it under control, but the body by itself, by exercises, asana, and right usage of the body. The second is breath. How do we do it? Pranayama, right? And not just pranayama. Whenever you're nervous, you don't need to do all special techniques. Always, even as you're listening to me, don't get lost in me. Don't lose yourself. Be within. Feel your breath within. Even now it can be felt. This is called mind control. Even now you're feeling it. You're within. You're not lost. The second, that is pranayama. The third, mind. That is by conquering your emotional weaknesses and your desires. The fourth is intelligence. How is that mastered? By one is to study psychology and the other is to observe this world. What is the example of observing this world? I told you the most intelligent thing. Sorry?
Appreciating every moment.
I mean, yeah, there are lots of words. You all used one wonderful word. Ashes, yeah. From that you can derive everything. It is like a small single term, you all derive everything. How to remain happy at every moment. Right? And from that comes the fourth dimension. That is, what is the nature of the fourth dimension? Deathless, birthless, and blissful. Yeah. Touch that by conquering these four dimensions. This is what Swami Vivekananda meant. In short, there's a lot of things. Please keep in touch. Please come here and please learn whatever this has to offer. It is your story, like I said. Swami Vivekananda speaks your story. It is your life. This is what Swami Vivekananda's message was. To preach unto mankind his innate divinity and how to make it manifest in his everyday life. So again I'll say, to preach unto mankind his divinity and how to make it manifest in his everyday life. Therefore, arise, awake, and stop not till the goal is reached.